Hi everyone, it's the EnglishSimmer here, and welcome back to another Sunday Fun Day, the day where I talk about anything really that takes my fancy. This week we are going to be talking about The Sims 4 and some pretty big news that Sim Guru Granth has been talking about recently on Twitter. First off, before we get into the bulk of this video, I want to preface this with the fact that I think representation is so important in any form of media, be it gaming, be it on television, on radio, any type of media. I feel as if representation is something that is so needed amongst all of those things. If you know me, if you've ever watched one of my videos, you will know how important representation is on my channel and also in my personal life. I love representation and I think it is a great thing. That being said, Sim Guru Granth recently, this has been going on for a while now, over on his Twitter, he's trying to communicate a lot more with the Sims community, and recently he's been talking about the possibility of having disabilities in The Sims 4. So this means in Create a Sim, having your Sims with disabilities. And whilst I think this is a great thing, and I have spoken to people on kind of both sides of this argument. It's not really an argument, it's more of a discussion, and how that can be brought into The Sims 4. I do feel as if awareness needs to be raised in a lot of different factors of this area. So as I said, I've spoken to kind of the two main camps, I guess, in this discussion. On one side, you have people with disabilities in their real life who would thoroughly adore being represented in The Sims 4. The Sims 4 has such a diverse community, and honestly, I can see that is such an amazing opportunity for those players who never really get to see themselves or their friends or their family represented in a video game, and The Sims 4 could be one of the first to do that, which would be an amazing feat. I mean, hello, we're in 2018, come on, why can't these things just be normalized already? However, on the other hand, I have spoken to Simmers who also have disabilities, and they're like, you know what? I play this game to get away from my disability. I play this game to take me away from real life, and honestly, it might just be a grim reminder of everything I have to go through in my daily life, again in The Sims. Obviously, of course, if this were introduced in The Sims 4, you would have that option. It's exactly the same as the gender update. The main bulk of that coding and everything to do with disabilities would be in the game, but you would probably have to choose and sort out those options for your sim. I mean, I would personally love it if I randomized a sim and say if they had a wheelchair or a prosthetic limb, anything like that. I think that would be kind of cool if Sims could be randomized that way. However, I feel as if it would probably work the same way as the gender update, and you would physically have to find those options and change it yourself. Which, for those people who say maybe this isn't for me, maybe I don't want to see myself represented in the game in that sense, then fair enough, you don't have to play with those options if you choose to. So all in all, I am in favor of this. I mean, if you don't want it, there's always the option to not play with those. At the end of the day, any game is like that. You don't like what you see in a game, you don't have to play it if you don't want to. It's like if you don't like what you see in a YouTube video, you can click off, you can stop watching, and that's that. You can move on with your life. However, to that specific group that it is actually representing, it can be an amazing feeling to finally see yourself normalized in a situation, in a game that you probably spend hours of your life playing. So in that sense, I think having Sims with disabilities would be a great thing and could honestly change the future of gaming. If Maxis step up, if EA publish this, imagine how that could change the way that these things are talked about in the future of gaming. It's happened with the LGBT community recently. There's been a lot of games that have just kind of normalized LGBT relationships, which is amazing, and you can see it's now changing and we're getting that representation that we so dearly wanted for so many years, and I feel it would be exactly the same in this sense. However, on the flip side, my kind of, I don't know, speculative brain sort of kicks in and thinks, how far can this go? I mean, I would hate that this update were to come out if we get it. This is all just a rumor at the minute. The Sims team have said they want to work on it. They are actively seeking out and thinking about this. However, we still don't know if it's a possibility in the game. However, if it were, let's say that it's in the game in the next 2 years. Let's go for that. How far could the team go with this? And by that I mean, obviously disabilities are so wide ranging. Like, I've seen it myself. My cousin is completely blind. He has no vision whatsoever. And recently he's come into contact with obviously a lot of other blind individuals. However, to be classed as legally blind, there is such a spectrum of blindness, and how are the team going to get those spectrums? They obviously don't want to say, well, this disability is way more important than this disability. And what I would just really hate to happen is for this to be released and, hey, you now get to have your sim have a wheelchair, or they can use a cane maybe if they're blind, and then another person who has a disability be like, okay, that's great, but also this still isn't representing me and my disability. And I would just really hate for people to kind of see it as a hierarchy, which honestly, it's EA. Whatever they choose to do, it's gonna be problematic in somebody's eyes. EA are a humongous publisher who have a lot of unhappy fans at the moment. So whatever they choose to do, I feel like is gonna get some criticism from some people somewhere. That's just how games go. I mean, there's always gonna be that. But what I would hate is for people to still feel left out, even when the team have put time and effort and dedication into that update. Which is really what I mean about how far can this go? If, say, we introduce physical disabilities, will it then be expected in the future to have mental disabilities? And if those are created, then can the team sensitively discuss mental health in The Sims? That's what I mean by how far can this really go. Like, how far can this be taken while still being a very sensitive topic for many people of the world, not to be disrespectful, to do it justice, and to make people happy and make people feel as if they are being represented, but also taking that and doing it sensitively to those who are affected by this every day of their lives. So it's a really tough discussion. I think it's a really tough discussion to have and to think about, because the opportunities are truly almost endless. But honestly, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this, especially if you yourself do have a disability. If you want to see that representation, then let me know down in the comments. Be loud about this. Like, honestly, as you've seen, Sim Guru Granth is really thinking about it, and he is trying to actively come up with ways as to how this could be possible in the future of The Sims 4. Obviously, be respectful to the gurus, realize that they are putting a lot of time and dedication into this, but Also, be loud about it. If you want to see that in the game, tell them. If this affects you personally as well, I would love to hear what you guys think of this. How would you feel about the representation? Are you kind of on the side that would love it? Are you kind of on the side that is like, I don't want to really be reminded of this whilst I'm playing a game? The Sims is meant to be like a fantasy life. But yeah, it's a discussion that I definitely feel as if needed to happen and wanted to happen for sure. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I guess just thank you guys for all of your support and love recently. And I will speak to you all in my next video. Bye guys!